Music Video Network is an online company formed to rekindle interest in music videos in three key sensibilities. That would be artistic merit, entertainment value, and promotional use. The site will combine both social networking and media content to create a passionate user base consisting of both fans of independent music as well as artists and directors. Really, my idea for this company was spurred by a lack of really focusing music videos in the music industry. They have dropped in, and we've noticed two key trends in the industry, both a growth of social networking online. It's become the most dominant tool online, led by leaders such as MySpace, Facebook, as well as a new interest in finding media content online. This has come from both downloading of content and a lack of what's happening is networks are losing viewership to the internet, and in response are now providing more content online. This has been seen with music videos. Music videos have all but left broadcast television. MTV has just now canceled Total Request Live, which was known as a huge source of music videos in the country. And now sites like Pitchfork Media, Fuse TV, and other smaller companies are starting to build a music video community online. What we're trying to do is build a hybrid of both social networking and media content to build a passionate user community, both by providing the content and as well as encouraging users to provide or supply content to the website to build a sense of community, as well as basically give a sense of ownership to the users.
I think it relies on an independent music journal, which would couple and provide the site with added audience. And I did not find that aspect perhaps as outlined in the plan as I would have wanted. So in fact I went online, I checked the site. There was little there yet. I'm trying to I'm not sure, are you going to create that site? But I like the idea of coupling, not just relying on one strategy, your own site, but perhaps thinking about a different site with a different audience to feed back information. I think it's difficult. I think there's a lot of competition in the market. There's a lot of fixed costs, startup capital that will be needed. It's difficult to run a website. You need management needs to be very, very much on top of it on a regular basis. You have to have very good people at that end. I'd like to have seen more analysis about the revenues of the advertising industry, and Michael and I have talked about that. I suggested that there's a magazine called Advertising Age that gives you a sense of how advertisers are spending on online sites. I do see a lot of, I'm convinced about the figures you bring to discuss, you use as evidence to discuss the significance of the project. I'm not sure that you spend as much time as on researching the hand that would feed you, advertisers. Are they spending more there? What's happening? We're also in a time of depression, but I'd leave it there. Perhaps others have things to add. So,
having been in your shoes, about your age, you just have to have your convictions and move forward. Now, having said that, I have a few questions. In terms of the business model itself, based on just pure advertising, that's kind of a tough road these days on which to raise money. And for better or worse, iTunes has kind of turned people's eyes towards being able to get some sort of recurring revenue in terms of what people actually purchase. Do you see that there might be the ability to actually charge people for music downloads?
Yes, what we see is if we can build a community, especially in terms of uploads. If we can get users to be using the site as a portal to host their own content,
Right.
we believe that we could. We want to be able to keep the main user base a free membership,
Right.
but we believe that there's a possibility to start charging for hosting fees. Say, if a user were to upload a certain amount of content above a certain amount of space to be hosted by the site, to start charging a fee to host that content.
So what I was just thinking right down to it, if there was some way also that you could view your business not just as a sharing sort of situation, but also as a way for your viewership to get the first crack at new music videos, perhaps made by independent bands or people you have relationships with. So it really does become an online, dynamic, living sort of music gateway for a specific set of viewership. Then you have something that's valuable and unique, and they can't get right away from iTunes, but perhaps the bands are independent and too small to go there. And so I would think about that sort of angle. The second question I have for you, and we'll just turn it to my colleague here from the SBA, is that typically for this type of business to go to a bank, you need to have something that they call collateral, which, I don't know if you own a house yet, or you have a Porsche, whatever, but you the plan, you put in that you want to raise $125,000 and $75,000 from your friends and family. And, by the way, when I started my first company, when I was like 21, those are exactly the numbers that we had. It was for some software. And we weren't able to raise any money from my friend from the bank, but we did raise $75,000 exactly from our family, our families. And we were just laughing about that. The first thing we did when we started making some money was get them out of the business as quickly as we could. But so the question, going back to my colleague here, is in terms of suitability for a bank loan, SBA endorsed or not, how does this type of business fare up these days in this type of economy?
Well, first of all, I read it, and it's very impressive, your whole idea. This is definitely premature for SBA financing. You're doing the alpha and the beta testing. I mean, that's so you're a ways away. And what you would have to do, even once you get to that point, you have to convince the bank that this is a workable idea and a doable project. So it's difficult. It's always difficult to get startup money. In this environment, it's very, very difficult. But it can be done, but it's premature now with this plan here. And most startups use friends and family. We say the 3 Fs: friends, family, and fools.
Is that the plastic
Are the fools the entrepreneurs for taking money from their families?
That may be it. No, listen, you can get money that way, but during Thanksgiving dinners, you may have a tough time, like you probably had. Oh, where's my money? What's happening? What's going on? But that's the price you pay for getting money that way. But a lot of people do that.